Good evening, guys. Ken at Tortoise Capital, nightly strategy podcast for February 14th, 2023. We'll start with the swing portfolio. Alcoa. A couple days ago, we closed that nice trade. Saw the SSC continue. We took that one today with a risk box just below the belly of the dragon. It closed well. We'll keep that stop in play, and it closed right here. So we've got a little bit of wiggle room. All right, so Cliff uh, illustrates the joys of swing trading. So we had a SSC on this one yesterday, which closed in here, and then we got a gap down, so we end up taking a minus 3R. That would absolutely shoot me into orbit if this was an intraday. But that's the consequences of the overnight gap. And one of the issues with working a tighter stop, once in a while you're going to see that. After that gap, it closed, sold off harshly. The R10 reversed, and I took the SSC again, the same price level it did before. Now, if I was a vindictive person, I could take the 3R here and pay for that one. But what are you going to do? Closed well. It's above the R10. It still has a fighting chance to get back to the midpoint of this breakout box, which is what triggered the long. I like that price action. This feels like it washing out the people with weak convictions, and that would be me. So we just take the re-entry where we're supposed to, and our stop is still here at the routine place. And I will look to add a position if it gets above the peak of this breakout box. So I'm looking at like 21 bucks even as the critical price break on this one. I will not let this go below here because I need this to kind of offset that gap and for the stars to be in alignment. So Cliff, a little problematic there. Chevron, this has just felt like dead money for 4 or 5 days, and it opened here and then could not maintain, so I cashed that little bit of a win. And then on 5 days of failure to follow through, I took that as a stop and reverse. And now we're playing this as a multiple kata twos, and this closed poorly, which is good for us. We're about an R in hand, and now if it can break below today's low, this entire gap feels vulnerable. And now I think this price target down in here is the reasonable target around 85, and so this thing could gallop away to the downside. But there doesn't seem to be much buying pressure in this hog at all. And we'll remember that this thing was a Godzilla from way back, right? And so I like the opportunity here. This weakness is foreshadowing this move. I'd like to see it get there. If it only got this far and held, I would still take that one. But I'm looking for weakness in this region tomorrow. High priority for 3 minute. All right, so Devon Energy, 3 days ago, we initiated this one on there was the gap. We didn't get it until here. Um, got the wrist box in place. It held support here, so it feels like it's getting some traction. It closed pretty well, so I feel like I now need to move this up into here and then lock in about 1.5. That's 1 unit of risk. That's about 1.5 right there, so that feels okay. Electronic Arts. This was a quiet Godzilla. We've been playing this thing really, really tight. Like if we go back and look at this thing, that's what that looked like. So this was not one that I'm willing to stick around on. Yesterday, you know, we got the nice SSC and it closed well, and then today it just started dropping like a rock. And I said, you know what? Let's just take that win. It now the interesting point is, I think the original hypothesis is still in play. The fact that it has held 3 times now at this support level, that's the key price level right there. And it was able to get across the dragon and close all the way up in here. I'm ready to get back into this thing tomorrow. I just did not want to hold that one overnight after getting burned on CLF. So I think I'm still ready to hyperventilate on that one. Emerging markets. Let's see. So this thing is also playing a little coy right in here. What I liked was this higher low and the PSAR flip. So I'm taking a venture on that one. Standard risk. I really want it has to get above 40.60 and above 40.90. I'm not interested in a second position on this one till it gets above the 5-day high and leaves all of this junk behind. But as it stands right now, I'm pretty happy with the entry right at the close and giving it a standard risk box. So that one's a speculative one on emerging markets. Mexico was strong today. It had a run up and held. We got the entry at the PSAR flip yesterday, which is a COTA 2. And so this one still feels like that feels like buying pressure and some tactical play. But we've got some wiggle room on this one right in here. And so I could be tempted tomorrow. I think I'm going to take my stop, which was here, and just nudge that up into here so that we can lock in that little wedge and not lose any money on it. I believe that if it gets above this little RL10 peak, I think I'll add a position at like 57.50. Because once it leaves all this behind, that's not much support or resistance, I should say. You don't see the next resistance until all the way over here at 58.75. So there's enough room in here for another position, but it's got to get above this, above that wall. Cautiously optimistic on that one. Brazil. This was one that was not as strong as Mexico. It was not willing to hold that one over. It didn't want both of them, so we just took that little win today. It came back and held here, which is nice. So if it holds there tomorrow, this is a candidate for a 3-minute trade in the usual way with the intraday. Again, it has to get above, I think, the 5-day high, or I wouldn't object if you said that price level to get above the 3 RL10 peaks. So I could see the swing trade hitting here. Um, so we'll see. But I'm going to start. I will start it off in here as a 3 minute pure intraday trade, and then try to grow it into the 30-minute bar. International paper. Uh, I wanted to hold. I wanted to buy this one at the end, but Cliff was on my mind. I still was a little bruised with that one. So we closed a nice two position short. That was the. We're in on the stop and reverse on this one. This was one I really wanted the second position, but I decided to wait and see. If it gets above this, we'll add the second position here. But the first position on the stop and reverse uh, feels pretty good. So if I'm thinking about the second position here, then that means I got to get my stop up into here tomorrow and lock in that gain, which is about almost 2R. So international paper is holding nicely. Now, what's nice on this one is if we go back, well, remember what got us interested in this one was that 7 sigma move, which was a big gap up and go, and we got some trades in here, and then that nice trade as it returned. But I want you to notice now that what was once resistance could now very well become support. And now if you get that kata 2, this thing wants to go, and now the target would be up in here at 41.50. This is really could be a superstar play if it gets above 41.75. So just put the automatic order in right now to be surprised into that position with a swing trade. Now you can trade it tactically in this space, and then if it goes through there, it tricks you into the position without having to think. Do all your thinking now and eliminate the cognitive load. So that's my plan for international paper. Scratched real estate. I like that it's holding this support level, but this was not inspiring. When it could not hold and started coming back, I just elected to get out of it. I will be continuing to stalk this one, but I'd like to see it get above 92. There just wasn't enough in there to buy it at the close, to rebuy it at the close, I should say. LUMN, I'm taking this one off the list. This was one of those speculatives, much like Electronic Arts. It had been a Godzilla, stealthy Godzilla that just was mucking around. There's just not much interest in this one, and at $4 a share, it's just not worth the hassle. So I'm gonna stay with Electronic Arts, and we'll be dropping this one from the portfolio. McDonald's. Yesterday we initiated. This felt like the earliest kata 2 we could get in. There was that gap and go. This thing closed well, so our stop, which is here, giving it a buffer. I got to move that up into here to protect the gains from that entry. But this is really the crucial price tomorrow. It's got to get above the 5-day high at 268.50. Then this gap here is no resistance at all until it gets to about 271. So if it can get through this price level tomorrow, then that move should happen pretty quick, and then this will be a good news story for McDonald's. So I'll be ready to add to that position. Marijuana, we had this one short, and then I initiated a kata 2 today at the end. When the PSAR flip hit, it had a nice little bounce. So this one still feels okay. We'll just keep that stop in, and give it a couple days to see if it can get above the 5-day high, and then really the 10-day high. That would be a nice move. And then this becomes like a complex kata 2. and some nice recovery. But it feels like 7 is a psychologically important price level. So we'll we'll see how that one goes. Cautiously optimistic. Clean energy. Um, Yesterday initiated the SSC. Our stop is down here, still in play. It closed well right to here, so we've got about 1 hour in hand, and this is not really resistance until you get to here. So that's still in play. I think I want to see it get above 46 before I add a second position. So this just feels like one position in PBW. I'm just mindful that from this price level, it has shown in the past a willingness to gain. So I want to respect that, and I'll just keep that we'll keep that stop in play. I'm sorry, we'll move that up into here, lock that in, and then just let this run until it gets above, say, the 5-day high. Treasuries just stalking. Seems to be holding support above 103. That's good. Tesla, we initiated the SSC yesterday with a nice tight risk box. That gave us a nice 2-hour win today, and I'm optimistic that if it can get above, say, 212, then this thing has real legs, and I would look to add a second position for the swing here. That's going to be a high pry intraday trade for me tomorrow. And then finally, U.S. Steel. Yesterday, we got I treated that as a SSC, and it closed well. And then today, it was much stronger than Cliff and closed very well. So we put the second position in, and that means I got to run my stop up into here to lock in that gain. And third position is coming. If it can get above 30.25, off we go. Now, if this acts as resistance, then if it comes up in here and starts failing tomorrow, I'll cash that double position and get paid. Okay? So that's a quick update on the swing portfolio. Shift into the daily. I'm probably looking for an intern to do some work on the swing portfolio videos. If you're interested in doing some work assembling the snippets of those videos from about the last month, I'm looking to build a new hybrid swing course, and I just need some video work done. You send me an email if you're a subscriber and are interested in some intern work. All right, so this one is our sniper trade of the day. Let's zoom in a little bit on this one. So there was a gap down to here, and then this establishes our OR3 in this blue box. The next couple bars stay within that range. And again, we're waiting for a breakout. If it breaks out to the upside, we'd be looking for a return to this price level. And if it gets above the RL10, it becomes very interesting. On the downside, if it fails below here, then this could just drop like a rock. So we're stalking. There's our standard entry and a standard MMRB. I missed the second entry, which could have been here. If I'd have gotten that second entry, that's the 2-hour battle drill. I was still suffering from CLF fatigue right here, the mental bruise of a 3R gap against me. So that would have been the 2R battle drill. The stop, even if you don't get that, that stop should be up, probably locking in 2R right now. If that gets you out, then this or this has got to get you back in. There's two legs up on this. Leg one, slight pause. It holds what used to be resistance has now become support. If you didn't get this, the second entry right here, you might have taken the second entry here. If you take that second entry there, then this rollover means you should be exiting right here at the edge of the dragon. So that, again, on the second entries, I like to just use the upper skin of the dragon so that all of the outsized gain north of the dragon is in our favor. I had a little more wiggle room here because I only had the one position on, but on 1 unit of risk, 1, 2, 3, that's about +4. Checker hold. Missed the PSAR flip. I had a long bias on this one, but the legitimate entry is here. When the summer turns to fall and you cross the RLXD and the PSAR flips and you put a standard risk box on there, that move, it didn't come all the way down to the low of the day, but on that move you should not lose money. And this is one of those where you get the piece or the RL10 flips, and you might have taken it right at the edge of the skin of the dragon or the spine of the dragon or the peak of the dragon, but all of those make money. I didn't get that one though. But I did get the this normal re-entry. What would we call this pattern? Here's our standard risk box. The bottom of that RL10 is just so important. Kata 2. The peak of the RL10 is where it gets interesting. That means this is the tactical space. And all we're trying to do in the tactical space is fight to get our risk out. We're fighting for survival, capital preservation. So as soon as I can get my stop to here so that I can lock in that little wedge, that little fact that you're not going to lose any money, no lose plus dinner for 2, is extremely important. I never even got that. I got the quick sell -1. I turned that into a stop and reverse because now we have lower highs, whether you're using the R10 or the peak of the dragon. Then you get the RLXD. And I was +4. And now I'm mad because I'm -1. So just stop and reverse. I'm looking for it at least to get to here. You're not allowed to be surprised if that price gets to here. And if you see that move, you cannot lose money on that trade. That means you got to get your stop from here. at least locked in so that you can get paid on that little wedge. Check or hold. Where you have to be ready for that second position is here at the RL10. By that time, you'd have probably 1, 2, almost 3R in hand. So I would just wait to see if that gets violated. It doesn't. So now it feels like I at least got my, that loss. I make it back, and now this is feeling like a crucial price level in here. If that can hold, I wouldn't mind seeing, if that level breaks, I have to be long. So now the question is, can we stock something in here? Yeah. Notice the improvement from the indicators. You get the winter turns to spring as it enters the dragon, then it leaves the dragon. It takes out the descending PSAR. So all systems go. Now, when you see that, you're now thinking that this thing could move back to here. So with the standard risk, that's about where the 2R battle drill would be. So that makes this region in here the tactical trade space. And so therefore, all I'm going to try to do is get my stop, which is here. As soon as I can get it up into here, and again, lock in this. I know this sounds like a broken record, but that's all I'm trying to be. It's my favorite song. I'm trying to get this no lose plus dinner for two wedge so that I don't lose my mind. If you could have heard me cursing this morning on CLF, yeah. Beauty. Just like downtown. Now the R10 peak has been breached. We've got 1, 2, 3 in hand. Feels pretty good. I can get. I could be there for the PSAR. That's too far away because if I let this all come back to here, I'd end up losing money on the trade. So I probably got to be like right here. Peak of the dragon. Nice. Now I want you to just feel how this little pullback could not even get through the dragon, much less test the PSAR. It gave a little urge up. This little pullback just barely nudged through the dragon, could not get to the PSAR. Now the PSAR feels like a reasonable exit, and this little R10 wiggle and go, this is ready to go. So to me, my stop should be like right about here, so that this one is now in the money. PSAR is your friend. And so now, I'll just, after this little wiggle and go, why not? And now on that first burst up into here, why wouldn't I try to get my stop to here, or to here, or to here? All good. Standard exit. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, plus 5, 2, 1, 8R, 4R, scratch. So we're about plus 12. What would we call that entry? Besides relentless? Kata 2, standard risk, quick fail, and done for the day. 12. For those of you screenshotting at home, good flashcard. All right, let's go find the traders. All right, so Nolan is taking some advice and staying out of the chop. Very good. He gets a OR3 entry here, long. Gets paid, gets the nice re-entry, gets paid. There's 2 and 1. So that's 3.4. Pretty nice. There, he notices the opportunity, doesn't take it, stays out of the chop, tries a couple in here, worth a gamble. 2.9. Nice. Much more orderly work. Some more professional work here from Kyun. He notices the potential Kata 2. It was still within the OR3. I still think this overrides that. I think you can take that with the stop here at the bottom of the dragon or the PSAR and just take that. This one was free and clear. He does take this one and doesn't let it move against him. It gets paid for 1.1. Notices the quick rollover. This is almost like the Anderson regression line crossover where you get that amazing run up and then an instant collapse. You know, in this case in Microsoft. So there was the RLXD entry a couple times. This is where the logical exit would have been if he takes either of those entries. That would have been a problematic SSC. He could take it, but on best play he scratches or takes a fractional. It holds here, and now suddenly this is the one I want you to take because you have this double bottom and a Kata 2, and it clears that little peak. This one, he felt like he was chasing. Again, now this is another one I think you can take. It's late in the day, but he stays out of it, and he brings home 1.1. That's a good day at work, taking fewer trades, but staying with the highest quality ones at the moments of least resistance. Nothing wrong with that. How many days do you want to bring home 1.1? All of them? Yes, you do. Good discipline. Here's Woj. It was in we've told you about your meetings in here with your kata twos, missing those. He gets paid here and here a little bit for points, minus zero point 0.7. There was that one quick loss. So minus 0.7 in Devon. He gets the kata 2, misses the re-entry, doesn't take, he was in a meeting, so we know what we're going to say about that. Lots of opportunities. Tries this one, doesn't work for minus 1, gets paid on this one for 1.5, so plus 0.5. So the sum of all these three symbols was 0.4. Then he's able to squeeze 0.7 out of U.S. Steel before his meeting. He gets 2 positions in Tesla for 4R, but doesn't take the re-entry, which would get him 8, and the kata 2. But he does get the OR3 in NVIDIA on 1 for 8.6. Misses, gets a little fractional loss for 7.9. Brings in 12.6 for the day, plus 0.4 from the other two. That's a 13-hour day. This is about trade number 3000. I think we're about ready to see another updated histogram from you, Woj, so we can take a look at time series. Here is my brother on Amazon on the 3-minute. Standard entry on a collapsing dragon, 2-hour battle drill, and then when it comes down and rolls back up, he gets paid for, he keeps that second one in the money for 0.7 and a total of 3.4. Here's more Tesla. After that reversal, he gets on the north side of the dragon, gets an entry, 2-hour battle drill, and an exit, re-entry, and a micro loss for another 3.9. So that's somewhere up around 8 running total. And then NVIDIA, he's on the north side of the dragon. Spring turns to summer, gets the entry, 2-hour battle drill and out, re-entry automatically, 2-hour battle drill and out, re-entry and scratch-ish. So 3R out of this whole series for a total of 11 for the day. Good work today, boys. And there's his stats. Market health checks. This was a wild ride day in the S&P, so we've kind of got this little kata 2 thing going on. Yesterday was that nice run up. Today was big run, harsh sell, and nice recovery. This feels like it was shaking people out, like me this morning in Cliff, and then recovering. This is still right at a crucial price level where it's poised to make a run, but it's got that's the 30-day high and the 10-day high right there at 418. Remember when we were down at 380? So this is grinding and making gains, and that's promising right there. The fact that it did not collapse all the way down here, but reversed and had strong closing, feels pretty good. Still early in the week. The 30-day, we're getting, we went from spring to summer to fall, and so it has not broken the PSAR yet because the RL10 has not crossed it yet. And it had a slight upward bias to the day. So if this can hold, and then it can break out of this 10-day and 30-day high. That really releases a lot of pressure to make this thing go. So we've got sort of a rising triangle, and this is not much of a sell-off, and the rising lows make this feel pretty good. And then, to be honest, on the market 150, this is setting up nicely for a potential third leg. You have this support level that was strong, and here's leg one, here's leg two with the pullback. So if this can hold, you got this Kata 2 narrative working, and the third one could take it all the way back to 430, which is really quite a move. Notice again that it takes this long for it to lose that much, and it takes 3 times as long to gain it all back. So, climb up the steps, jump out the window. That's what happened in here too. So, interesting times. In terms of the sectors, just from a distance, we'll notice the S&P baseline in the middle, right at the boundary of micro loss. Tesla, the big winner. Notice all our little individual companies. There's NVIDIA, Intel, and Texas Instruments. So those are our 3 semiconductors. And there's real differentiation in there with NVIDIA as the clear winner, just crushing it. But then the consistency of the metals, all 3 metals are right here, U.S. Steel, Alcoa, and Cliff. That's our metals, and that's strongly in play. And they're all better than the materials. So metals as a sector are going, and that's more impressive than the semis. But I mean, the semis did, NVIDIA did well today. So if you got to play tech and you want semis, NVIDIA is still the place to look. All right, dashboard 1. Bullish quiet, that's the best condition of all. And volatility is quiet and still poised to the upside. It's risk on and neutral. This has been such a good advisor about when to get risk on. Boy, has that been good. This move from this little quiet negative, that move has been really nice over the last 3 weeks. This is such a good indicator for swing trading. The multi-time frame NDX for the S&P, that's pretty healthy right there. Everything above the 50-yard line and strong on the intermediates. This is pointing higher. Still a handful of auto framers. 551W in Disney and in Visa. Tesla and Alcoa were strong today. In the ETFs, a ton of auto framers as well. Lots of 551Ws. That's a very healthy sign for the ETFs. Yeah. Auto framer and squeezes for the mechanical traders there. Not much change in who the deep value plays are here. Johnson & Johnson, Pfizer, and United Health still at 2 to 3 ATRs below fair value. And real strong outperformance by these winners: Boeing, JP Morgan, DuPont, NVIDIA, Nike. I mean, NVIDIA to me Looks like the real class of the field in tech. In the Godzillas, 5 Godzillas in the S&P, mostly stealthy Godzillas. Electronic Arts, I'm I'm still interested in that one, as I discussed earlier. I'll be ready to try it again. Just I after the cliff bruising, there was no way I was going to be more relaxed on a that speculative one, but I'm still connected to it. Standard stats for the 1 day movers, the quietudes, and the most volatiles. I'll leave that to your inspection. Interesting to note that in the tactical symbol set, which we sort by the Z5, nothing exceptionally volatile. But so that means in all of this quietude, what I look for these anomalies where it's very quiet. But Tesla broke out today, Nvidia broke out today, Cliff broke out today. That's where the movers are. That's the first movers, and all of them closed very, very strongly. So they're all in play while the rest of this stack is all quiet or normal. That's how you see who the early movers are. A real mixed bag on the 2 day. But there's JP Morgan winner, Tesla winner, Boeing winner, Tech in the lead, and the Qs were strong. It's tech leadership, and that's really what leads me to Nvidia. And I think Microsoft is well positioned. Looking at the targets with real good trading value. There's Tesla. It's dropped to the 4th position. Look at that average range percentage in Alcoa. More volatile than Tesla, Intel, Energy, Brazil. Alcoa. That's a trader right there. I love it when that's Brazil is perennially in play because it always has a nice uh, range percentage and has a strong frog quality there. I likes it. Clean energy still in play. Intel, that's been weak. However, that's whereas Nvidia has been so strong. All right, so that's everything we got for today. We'll get this published and posted, and we'll be ready for them tomorrow. My girls are coming home from California tonight. Get ready to run over to the airport to pick them up. So I got to close up shop here, and we shall see you tomorrow.